I did go to theological seminary. And they taught me a little homiletics, whatever that is, hermeneutics. One of the things that they taught me was that you're supposed to define your subject. And so I would like to deal with the definitions for the word recession, money, and prosperity for a moment. Those of you that like to write, this is a good time to write. Not only that, it's a good time to open your study guide, Reverend Ike's study guide. You will find me very subtle. I thought you'd never ask. Page 15, page 81, and page 37 for starters. Those of you who did not yet get a copy of the study guide, you may do so at the break so that you'll have it for the second session. Now let's deal with this term recession for a moment. I find it very interesting. Do you know that recession means going backward? Quite literally. It means to go backward. Who wants to do that? Let me hear you say, I ain't going backward. Recession means going backward to being less, doing less, and having less. I ain't going backward. I'm not going that way. Come on, shake your heads and say it. I'm not going that way. You see, you have to establish your direction in your consciousness. See, many times when people say, well, nothing's happening in my life. Why aren't things working? Well, you ain't saying nothing. You got to say something. You got to say which way you're going. That's affirmation. And sometimes you may need the denial of, well, I'm not going that way. And all of these negative ideas, after a while, if you don't welcome them, they may go somewhere else. Just be sure that you're not the somewhere else for other people's negative ideas. Now, there's a story about recession beginning on page 15. Open your books there. Since you don't have your book yet, I'll encapsulate it for you until you get the book. It tells about a man who himself did not have very much formal education, but he wanted better for a one son that he had. And he was a hot dog vendor. Sold hot dogs from a cart. And he managed to make a fair living for his family and to send his son to college to get an MBA. Where's Nada with the MBA? But anyway, and so his son went to college and learned all of these business theories. And he graduated, he came home and said to his father, he says, Dad, you know, according to what they taught me in school, there's going to be a recession. And people are not going to buy your hot dogs any longer. Things are going to get bad in this economy. And so the man began to think about it. Well, I sent my son to that school to learn about all of these things, so he must know. And so he mentally accepted the idea of a recession. And sure enough, his business began to get bad. And after a while, he was out of business. And he said something that's rather pathetic. He says, well, you know, my son sure is wise predicting these things. It was self-fulfilling prophecy. You see, we are always prophesying. Every one of us is a prophet. There is a prophet in every man, in every mind. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Your thoughts prophesy your future. The nature of your thoughts, the tendency of your thoughts. I like that verse of scripture in the Bible that says, the thoughts of the righteous tend only to plenteousness, meaning abundance of good for himself and for everybody else. So we must not become infected with the belief in recession. That's the first thing. We must not accept it. We've got to learn how to deliberately examine the ideas that present themselves to us. That's why it's good to be a student of the science of mind, because you're taught how to use your mind. You're taught how to examine ideas and what to admit to your thinking process and what not, in terms of the good that you desire to be, to do, and to have.